Not everyone is going to like you, and the moment that you stop needing them to, that is the moment you become magnetic instantly. Watch your whole life change when you stop performing and actually start living as the real you. If being liked feels more important than being yourself, there's a problem, and this video is your turning point, because once you stop needing outside validation, you stop living in fear. You become calm, clear, and unshakable, and that, my love, that is your power. Let's be honest, we've all done it. You walk into a room and without even realizing, your body goes into a scan mode. You start wondering if you're saying the right thing, if you're doing too much, if you're too opinionated, you're too loud, or maybe you're not interesting enough for the people there. You're observing everyone and their mood, adjusting your tone, softening your edges, trying to be agreeable without even knowing you're doing it. And it's not because you're fake or insecure in any way, it's because somewhere deep in your subconscious you learned that being liked equals being safe. That is, if people approve of you, you won't be rejected. If you blend in, if you're pleasant, if you don't ruffle those feathers, you'll stay loved, and that is safe for you. You'll stay accepted, you'll stay protected. Especially as women, we've been conditioned to equate likability with worthiness. Be sweet, be easy, be pleasing, and you'll be enough. So we shrink ourselves, we literally edit ourselves in real time, we make ourselves palatable, we become what the room wants us to be and what the group expects us and what makes others comfortable. And the problem with that is that the more you chase being liked, the more you slowly abandon your true self. You start silencing your voice to keep the peace, dimming your light to avoid attention, and saying yes when every part of you really wants to say no. And that's the moment that you start leaking your power to someone else, because true magnetism doesn't come from being perfect or agreeable. It comes from being rooted in your truth. The most magnetic women are not the most liked. They're the most honest, the most aligned, and the most unapologetically themselves. And when you let go of that deep, aching need to be liked by everyone, that's when your energy starts speaking for you and for itself. That's when you stop chasing and start attracting, because people are not drawn to your approval mask, they're drawn to the real you that is underneath it. And when she finally comes out and shines, she doesn't ask to be liked, she simply walks in and makes the whole room feel something. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Krishi, and on this side of the internet, we talk all about leveling up, mindset shifts, self-growth, and stepping into a life that's already yours. You just have to learn how to align with it. So let's make that happen together on here. So when someone doesn't like you, your brain treats it like actual harm, like physical harm. That's why we avoid it to our best. That's why we try so hard to be liked by everyone, to be agreeable, to be pleasant, and easy to be around with, literally. Because deep down, we've been wired to think that being acceptable equals being safe. But when you stop depending on that external validation, your brain actually starts to rewire itself. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for your decision making and your sense of identity, becomes less reactive to social disapproval. You stop overthinking every word you're about to say. You stop obsessing over whether someone misunderstood you later after a conversation, or you'll begin to literally feel more calmer and clearer in your life and more confident in your own energy and just having more self-trust. And that's what true magnetism is about. It's not about being the loudest person in the room, don't get me wrong, or being perfectly polished all the time. It's about being grounded in who you are. It's about walking into a room and not needing to win everyone over the second you enter. Not because you think you're better than anyone or you're full of arrogance, but it's because you finally know who you are and you don't need anyone else to confirm that for you. That's what makes people lean in more and makes you more unforgettable. To be truly magnetic, I feel like you need to learn how to romanticize being the one to stand out. A lot of us were taught, directly or indirectly, that could be, that being different was risky. Like, you need to blend in, that the safest way to move through life was to stay in the middle, not too loud, not too opinionated, not too extra. And over time, the fear of standing out becomes too ingrained that we start hiding the most magnetic parts of ourselves just to feel safe, acceptable, or liked. But then if we look at the people we admire so dearly in our life, the ones who leave an impact, are never the ones who blended in. The reason we admire them is because they stood out. They're the ones who embraced what made them different. That doesn't mean that they were loud or flashy in any way. anyway. It could just be that they were so real that you're just drawn to them because you kind of want that in you. Magnetic people aren't trying to impress anyone. They're just being fully themselves, and that energy is what draws people in because we crave that realness ourselves. It feels refreshing because most of the world is still trying to copy or try to perform in front of everyone. The reason this makes you so magnetic is because when you stop seeking for that external approval, you start radiating internal certainty. You trust your taste, your opinions, your way of living, your fashion sense, or anything. You're no longer scanning the room to fit in because you trust yourself. You're just rooted in who you are. And let me tell you, we are all energetic beings. So what happens? People feel that energy of you. So if you're wondering how to start, choose one area in your life where you've been holding sort of back. You've been holding back in things. That could be your voice, your creativity, your style, your ideas, or just your voice at your workplace or your school, anywhere. And then start leaning in. Maybe you stop apologizing for being passionate about something. Maybe you are fond of dancing and no one approves of that, but you stop being apologetic about it. It could even be as small as wearing an outfit that you saved for when I'm more confident or when I'm around people I'm comfortable. Maybe you finally post the thing that you've been overthinking for weeks. You don't need to go from hiding to fearless overnight. Just stop abandoning the parts of you that want to be seen slowly. The more that you show up in your truth, even if it's soft, even if it's super subtle, the more your energy speaks louder than anything else. And that's what magnetism really, I could define magnetism with just truly being yourself. Not being the loudest, not being perfect, but just being the most you've ever been. And I just want to say this from personal experience as well. This one shift has changed so much in me. Honestly, I can't even explain how powerful this could be throughout anyone's journey. It was like exposure therapy for me, especially in the beginning when I first started showing up online, when I was just beginning my content creation journey to post and speak on camera. I was actually at my heaviest and I wasn't comfortable at all. I didn't feel ready. I used to think things like people are going to judge me. But when I sat with that discomfort, I realized that it wasn't about how I looked at all. It was more about fear. Just fear of being seen, fear of putting yourself online, fear of being judged, because we all know we get judged here. But then one night I was like, you know what? I gave myself 5 seconds. I was like, if I'm not going to post this now, I'm going to forget about this and I'm going to go do something else. And then one night I told myself that I'm giving myself 5 seconds because I was so done with contemplating about it. I was like, I'm giving myself 5 seconds. If I don't post it now, I'm going to forget about this and I'm never going to do YouTube again. And then I had this one moment of whatever happens. What's the worst that could happen? And I did it. I posted. And everyone I knew probably saw it. My friends, classmates, or any mutuals, they may have seen it. And maybe even people I haven't talked to in years. And guess what? What happened? Nothing. I survived. The world didn't end. And that moment changed everything for me, at least. And from then on, it just got easier and easier with every upload. I started showing up more. I started showing up as the real me. I stopped obsessing over what people would think. I started speaking more honestly. But the more that I leaned in, the more free I felt. It's like literally exposure therapy. I am telling you, there is no better feeling like just not caring about what people would think and doing it anyway. That energy is so magnetic because it is so real. We get one life. So if you're scared to be seen, start small. Start with posting a small thing that you really want to post, but you're just like, what do people think? Say what you mean. Wear what you want. Let your energy take up a little more space in this world. It's really like exposure therapy. Like I said, the more you do it, the less you end up caring. Not in a cold sense of way, but in a more grounded and peaceful way. And I'm doing what makes me happy. I truly hope that everyone gets to feel this kind of freedom at some point in their life. Because as long as you're not intentionally hurting anyone and what you're doing makes you feel alive, you're good. You're golden. And then I want you to notice when you're doing this sort of shape-shifting in life. Shape-shifting is one of the most subtle forms of self-abandonment, and most of the time we don't even realize that we're doing it. It's the moment that we laugh at a joke which we don't even remotely feel that's funny, or nod along to something that you completely disagree with. It's a way you lower your voice in a group so that you don't seem too much, or the way that you dull down your style, your excitement, your opinions just to blend in. Just to keep the peace. And it's not because you're weak or fake. Again, don't blame yourself. It's because your nervous system is trying to keep you safe. One of the most profound human dilemmas is the conflict between authenticity and attachment. From a young age, we're taught that being accepted is more important than being ourselves. So we adapt, we perform, we become who we think we need to be in order to belong in a particular place. But here's the part that truly, I think stuck with me, is that you can't be magnetic when you're constantly mirroring everyone else. You cannot be fully expressed if half of your energy is being spent trying not to rock the boat. And social mirroring is so deeply wired in us that the brain's mirror neurons can automatically adjust our tone, posture, or even our language to match the people around us, even without us noticing. And the key isn't to judge yourself for doing this. It's actually to simply notice it, catch those small little moments, then shift in your tone, the pause before you say what you exactly think, the way your body subtly contracts when you're not fully being yourself. That awareness alone is power. And then from there, start choosing differently, even in small ways. Say what you actually mean, not what you think people would want to hear. Let your voice be clear. Let your style reflect your personality. Let your presence be felt. It might feel uncomfortable at first because it's something so new to you if you're not used to taking up space in this world. But every time that you choose your truth over people pleasing, you're sending a message to your mind and body that it is safe to be fully expressed. And that's when your energy starts to shift. Not because you're louder or trying harder, but because you're no longer filtering who you are. You're no longer molding yourself to fit into rooms that weren't built for your full expression. And then when you show up in that energy, the one that is aligned, grounded, and unfiltered, people notice, they feel, and that more than anything is what makes you magnetic. It is not possible that everyone's going to accept that or like you, and that is okay. The goal isn't to become someone that is liked by everyone. The goal is to become someone you deeply respect and feel proud of. Start by building that self-approval before you even enter the room, because literally tell yourself before you enter, say something like, I like who I am, I like how I show up, I don't need everyone to agree with me or to trust my voice. Say it aloud to yourself before you enter a room if you're someone who really needs to be liked. Train your mind to understand that you're the only one who needs to like yourself. And then make this a habit, because the more that you anchor it into your own opinion of yourself, the less that you need to chase it from anyone else. And then the moment you stop relying on that outside approval, your nervous system, it might panic a little, feel incomplete in the start. You'll feel so much discomfort. You might even second guess yourself. You might feel exposed, and that is normal. For so long, your brain linked approval to safety. So of course, being disliked or misunderstood in the start feels almost like a threat to your brain and your nervous system. But discomfort is not danger. It's just unfamiliarity. It's a feeling of you stepping into your own beautiful butterfly, into your own authority. And the more that you practice being okay with that feeling, the shaky voice, the awkward silence, the unreturned smile that you get from someone, the stronger and more grounded you then become. And that's when you start showing up differently. Not to prove anything, not to defend yourself, but because you're rooted, you've already given yourself the validation, so anything else is just a bonus. And that's really all there is. The less that you need to be liked, the more you become magnetic. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally just being yourself. There's a calm confidence that comes with not chasing approval. Like, how exhausting could it be to just all the time go into a room and then just want approval from everyone, and you're back to being yourself without the need to wanting that approval? I feel like we just speak more clearly. We stop performing and then we start living in our own energies, and that's what people actually feel drawn to. Like I said, if this resonated with you, let me know down in the comments. I would love to know what you're taking away from this video. What part are you struggling with? And if you're in your own self-trust era, I'm cheering you on completely. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need to hear this today. I appreciate you all for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.